Hi everyone, my name is Jiayong. I'm a clinical psychologist, and today I will be reviewing two villains. Okay, let's see who we have on this fan of villains. I'm gonna pick this one. We have Harley Quinn. Very beautiful Margot Robbie here. I'm just gonna leave this here. This is a tough one. For those of us who are not familiar with Harley Quinn, she used to be a psychiatrist until she met with the Joker. Yeah, everyone knows who the Joker is. And she fell madly in love with the Joker, and that's what precipitated her transformation into this rather really crazy character of Harley Quinn that can be quite cruel at times, quite sweet, quite manic, and but also still very much madly in love with the Joker. There are probably many different iterations of her across all the different stories. Yeah, but I'm just gonna review based on my layman understanding of Harley. Some people might think that she would meet some personality disorder criteria, most notably the histrionic personality disorder. If for those of us who might not know, if I were to look at some of the DSM-5 criteria, I'm just going to kind of read it out. Someone who is uncomfortable in situations in which she is not the center of attention, interacting with others in a very sexually seductive or provocative behavior. As you can kind of see, she sometimes tries to be very seductive towards both the Joker, Mr. J, or Batman. Someone who displays rapidly shifting and often shallow expression of emotions. Someone who uses her physical appearance to draw attention to herself. Yeah, and I think that explains the get-up as well. Very gaudy, very colorful kind of expression. Has a style of speech that is excessively impressionistic and lacking in detail. Yeah, I think quite a bit. She talks very loudly, very dramatic most of the time. Shows self-dramatization, theatricality, and exaggerated expression of emotion. Is suggestible. The suggestible part probably not so much, and considers relationships to be more intimate than they actually are. Possibly with the Joker, especially because the Joker doesn't seem to display that same level of warmth and interest in Harley Quinn most of the time. Rather, he can be quite nasty towards her, quite manipulative towards her. So even though I think superficially she might meet some of these criteria to warrant a diagnosis of histrionic PD, I do think there is more to it than meets the eye, though. So my understanding of Harley Quinn is that I think in her childhood she was bullied quite a bit, and that was actually what led her to want to save people through her job, and that's why she took up the study as a medical doctor and then specializing in psychiatry. That it stems from this almost self-sacrificial martyr kind of desire to get into the minds of others and hopefully heal them. And then this guy Joker comes along, someone who is totally I guess the short of a better word, insane. I think that's how Joker would describe himself, totally chaotic. And I think that probably threw Harley Quinn off her course. And the whole possibly challenge and the impossible challenge of wanting to rescue Joker possibly made her even more infatuated with him, complicated by Joker. I think at some points, I think he was sweet to her. He can be charming if he wants to, of course, for his own manipulative purposes. And I think that's what kind of threw her off and led her to be wildly, madly, deeply in love with him, with that intention to save him or possibly to change him. Yeah, so that's kind of my thoughts about Harley. Not your typical PD. Yeah. If Harley were to walk into my clinic, what kind of therapy would be useful for her? I would probably go into schema therapy. Schema therapy is how we understand that our own unmet needs lead to a certain lens in which we see the world and different kind of coping mechanisms in order to survive and meet those unmet needs. So possibly Harley Quinn's very dramatic, theatrical presentation is meant to draw attention to her, get love from others, to possibly compensate for the emotional deprivation that she experienced from the past. Yeah, and typically in schema therapy is tapping into the healthy adult self and understanding, finding out how we can with our current wisdom and healthier coping strategies meet those unmet needs. Like, does she really need to depend on Joker to derive emotional intimacy? Does she really need all this limelight and theatricality, or can she find healthier ways to love herself? Yeah, so I think that's my overall review of Harley Quinn. So I'm just gonna move on to the next villain. So let's see which villain I'll have next. Let's see, who is this? Ooh, we have Darth Vader from the Star Wars series. Yeah, well, it's been a long while since I watched Star Wars. Yeah, Darth Vader is a really complex character. For those of us who might not be so familiar with Darth Vader, he is basically the dark side manifestation of Anakin Skywalker. The past of Anakin was quite a complex one. I think he was initially a slave. Very unstable childhood, in poverty, probably characterized by a lot of insecurity, and then he was kind of rescued by Obi-Wan Kenobi to be trained as a Jedi. And then a whole host of events happened. At some point, he turned to the dark side and he became Darth Vader. And then there was a lot of course, the brutal killings. And then eventually, when he got reunited with his son Luke Skywalker, that's where he kind of redeemed himself. Yeah, I'll probably dive a little bit more into the details of his character development as I go along in this review. As for the question about whether he meets any diagnostic criteria, probably the most obvious one would be a borderline personality disorder. So I'm just gonna have a read at what are the criteria. Yeah, and then as I talk about each criteria, probably I will also shed a bit of light based on Darth Vader's history. So the first one, frantic efforts to avoid real or imagined abandonment. Wow, this is a strong one. You can almost see this play out in his relationship with Obi-Wan, in his relationship with Padme, his relationship with his mom, and I think even in his relationship with his later dark side mentor, the Darth Sidious and the Emperor. Yeah, that he has always been so insecure and always worried that people were either doubting his ability, or whether people were gonna leave him. Yeah, so much so that when he thinks that they're gonna leave him, that's when he would rather, just destroy everything. Yeah, you kind of saw that with I think episode 3, right? Where he thought that Padme, his wife, was on Obi-Wan's side, and that's when he even wanted to kill her. Yeah, because he couldn't take it if someone was gonna leave him. It almost mirrors what he experienced in his childhood. Kind of being sold as a slave, and also I think the very insecure relationship with his mom as well. And how about the second criteria, a pattern of unstable and intense interpersonal relationships, characterized by alternating between extremes of idealization and devaluation. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it there. I think this one is probably best seen in his relationship with Obi-Wan Kenobi, who was his mentor, and also someone that he really idealized as like the epitome of what a Jedi should be like. He learned a lot. He learned so much from Obi-Wan, but at the same time, he was also jealous of Obi-Wan. He wanted to surpass him, as a disciple, to become like the best Jedi. And I think that's where the switch happened, and that's probably what precipitated that turn to the dark side, when he felt that maybe Obi-Wan was holding him back from achieving his full potential, that Obi-Wan wasn't fully trusting him. I think that's where the switch happened, and he suddenly kind of devalued Obi-Wan and would rather get rid of him so that Anakin could rise to become the ultimate Jedi in his mind. The third one, identity disturbance, markedly and persistently unstable self-image or sense of self. This one will probably be explained by his transformation from Anakin Skywalker, a Jedi, to the dark side as Darth Vader. You can almost kind of see this fracture in his personality. And is you kind of see it not just in terms of the emotional expression when he kind of suddenly shifts into that very cruel and angry phase, but also through his mannerisms, and of course eventually when he lost his limbs, and then he was really physically transformed into the Darth Vader with the costume and all. The fourth one, impulsivity in at least 2 areas that are potentially self-damaging and all. I think it's not just self-damaging. He was quite brutal, and I think killing off all the young Jedi. I think that part was there, and also even hurting the people that were close to him. But as for self-damaging, it was almost like he knew what he was getting himself into by turning to the dark side. And I think in his character development, you can kind of see a lot of remorse as well, but it's all just kind of suppressed. So there's definitely a lot of self-loathing. Yeah, but maybe not to the extent of self-damaging, that he's not hurting himself physically. So I didn't really see that. Recurrent suicidal behavior, gestures, threats of or self-mutilating behavior. I didn't really see that so much in Darth Vader. Affective instability due to a marked reactivity of mood. Possibly, I think quite a bit. Yeah, affective instability. I still remember, I think the episode 4, I think because like some general was not listening to him, was kind of challenging his authority. Then I think he had that sudden shift and wanted to kind of kill that general. So definitely some affective instability there. Chronic feelings of emptiness. I think this criteria is probably implied. It's never explicitly mentioned in the movie, but is implied by why he is still staying with Darth Sidious and the Emperor after all the like evil things that they did. It's almost like this Darth Sidious is maybe as close as it gets to being his friend back then, because he lost everything, right? He lost his wife, he lost his place as a Jedi, he lost his coach, his mentor. And Darth Sidious was his only friend, and possibly his loyalty to the Emperor was also because of that fear that maybe he will be abandoned, and then there's nothing left for him. The next criteria: inappropriate, intense anger or difficulty controlling anger. Definitely, I think you can see this almost throughout the movie. And lastly, transient stress-related paranoid ideation or severe dissociative symptoms. This part I didn't really see so much. Yeah, but if I could find a nice way to kind of round this up, I think what helped him to eventually find redemption was when he saw Luke, when he saw family again, that he felt that maybe that there was still love there, that there was still another reason for him to live aside from that fear of emptiness that made him stay with the dark side. That it was perhaps that relationship with Luke that made him ultimately kind of turn good and then save Luke and sacrifice himself. So if Darth Vader were to walk into the clinic, what would I do with him? Firstly, I'll be scared, man. Yeah, I think I'll be scared he might kill me. But assuming that he is the good version already, after he has kind of redeemed himself, I think what I would really like to do first and foremost is to really process his entire life story, to help him to understand the kind of trauma that he has been through, and how basically he spent most of his life trying to resolve that trauma and find love. Yeah, I'll probably take the therapy sessions in that direction. Of course, in the process of doing so, I think what's really important is to build a relationship with Darth Vader, so that I don't inadvertently trigger any of that sense of emptiness or the fear of abandonment as well. Definitely taking a very empathetic, supportive, committed approach with him. Yeah, I hope you liked my review of both villains, Harley Quinn and Darth Vader. And yeah, I look forward to seeing all of us again next time.